Good morning and welcome to another episode of Legislative Matters Now. I'm Morgan Spicer, Self-Advocate Coordinator with People First of West Virginia. Now, the purpose of our program is to educate all self-advocates, including myself, on the ever-important topic of legislative advocacy. Now, we do this by having a guest each month talk about various pieces of legislation. We also, on many programs, depending on the topic and time allowed, do a segment called Advocate in Action, where we talk to a self-advocate who is using their self-advocacy skills in a positive light to not only influence their lives, but the lives of others around them. Today we'll be talking to Katie Arbaugh from the West Virginia Developmental Disabilities Council. Thanks so much for joining us today and welcome to the show.
All right, thank you so much for having me.
So today we're talking about the registration form that's out for the board for the Developmental Disability Council. So what information do advocates need to provide in order to fill out the form?
All right, so we're soliciting for new membership on the council. We actually have quite a number of openings. So now if you've been thinking about joining the council, it's a great time to apply. The application is available on our website. People First staff have it as well. But the information that you'll need to mark if you're a person with a developmental disability, a parent or guardian of a person with a developmental disability, an immediate family member. And then we also, I think, have one at-large space open. So if you're a representative or of a local or non-governmental agency or a nonprofit group, we also have an opening for that. So there are 4 different categories that qualify you for membership. The other information is just your basic name and address, and then we ask you some questions. So we want us to tell you about your or your family member's developmental disability and about your experiences and kind of how it's impacted your life. The other questions that go along with it are some changes that you would like to see. So drawing from your personal experience, what kind of solutions are you looking for? What's the big picture? What would you like things to look like for people with developmental disabilities in the state of West Virginia? And then we just ask you, why are you interested in becoming a council member? And then what is your involvement in other advocacy organizations, local government, or just experiences you have with advocacy in general?
So are there any eligibility criteria?
Yes. So those 4 categories that I spoke with, they're at the very top because that's how you qualify. So if you're a person with a developmental disability, that is criteria. If you're a parent or guardian of a child with a developmental disability, an immediate family member or guardian of an adult with a developmental disability, or like I said, a representative of like a nonprofit or non-governmental agency. So you have to qualify under one of those 4 categories to be eligible for membership.
Now, is there a deadline for submitting this form?
Yes. Our deadline is March 31st, which gives you still about 2 months to complete your application and get it to our office.
And can the advocates submit the form online or do they need to mail it in?
Sure. At the top of the application on the cover page, there is our address, there is our phone number, and our email and our fax number. So you can mail it physically, you can email it to the address listed there, or if you'd like to fax it, you have the option. So we will take any of those 3 ways of submission.
Now, will any advocates be required to provide any supporting documents, like proving their disability?
No, you do not need any documentation to do this. Just please give us all the information on your application.
So who can they contact if they have any questions or issues while filling out the form? Maybe they're stuck on a question or maybe they need some clarification. What can they do?
Sure. You can call our office and just let us know that you're filling out this application and you need help. If writing is a difficulty for you and you struggle to write or to complete it on the computer, we can go over the questions over the phone. Just tell us that's what you're looking for. If you're an emailer, you can send us an email and let us know. But you can just call anybody at the office. So I'm Katie. Then we have Christy Black, who many people know, and then our executive director, Tina Wiseman. All three of us are able to help you answer questions or complete your application should you need assistance.
All right, so how long does it typically take for the application to be submitted after submitting it?
All right, this is a great question. So our deadline is March 31st. And so we as a council do not meet until April 23rd. Once the applications are approved, you'll hear from us, but we also submit your name to the governor. So it might be a couple of months before you hear from us. So after that March 31st deadline, we as a council won't meet till April because we need some time to review all of the applications. And then we have to do those processes. So if you submit an application, don't panic if it's June and you haven't heard from us, because we have to do all of our internal processes, and then we'll reach out by letter or phone call and let you know.
All right, so are there any fees associated?
Oh, no fees at all. Just submit it to us in one of those ways we mentioned earlier.
So what are some of the responsibilities and duties if someone, per se me, was to be voted in?
All right. So as a council member, the first big commitment is to attend the 4 meetings that we have a year. They are held quarterly in January, April, July, and October. Right now, we're having conversation around if those meetings are in person or virtual, but we would love our members, to attend in person as much as possible. We do move those meetings around the state. So we meet once in Charleston, usually in January due to the legislative session, but we might meet in Bridgeport or Morgantown or Beckley. We try to move around to make it easier for council members who are spread across the state. So attending those 4 meetings is critical. The other duties, we have various work groups that we have, whether we are working on our 5-year state plan, whether we are planning for our Partners in Policymaking class, whether we are working on grants, because grants is a big project or a big part of the council. We award grants like the People First grant. But we meet and we talk about those. So those are, as a council member, we encourage active participation in all of this so you can make your voice heard. And on that application, we ask about, your big picture. What do you want that to look like? And so we're hoping these grants meet those, meet those goals. And so we need the active participation to hear your voice and to make sure that our grants and things like that are aligning with our council's 5-year state plan, but then also the needs of people with developmental disabilities across the state of West Virginia.
Now, for the meetings that they are required to attend, is if an advocate needed to do one through virtual, would that be an option?
Great question. Right now, that is an option. We do have technology to do a hybrid model meeting. I can't tell you how long that will continue, but we do. We understand that life happens, and this week with the crazy snow weather and whatnot, it has adjusted people's schedules. So there is a virtual option currently, but I don't know. We're kind of taking that decision step by step as everyone gets used to having in-person meetings again. But those meetings, and if I can that prompted me. So the meetings that we have are all day long. They're about 6 hours, but we provide breakfast, and then we have the meetings, and we provide lunch, which is a great way to socialize and get to know other council members. And then if you are required to travel to attend those meetings, the council will, if you live over, I think 70 miles away, will cover a hotel room for you for the night and then a meal that night as well. So we don't want expenses to be a reason that you aren't able to be a council member if that is what you want. So those are just some things that we offer to help to make it a little bit easier for people to come to meetings.
And that's awesome that we have the options there, because some people can't take that long of a drive, and some people just want to stay home because of COVID. COVID's not going anywhere, but right. So it's good to know that they have options in case something does happen. As you said, life happens. But so speaking of that, you guys had your PIP reunion recently.
Yes.
How did that go?
The PIP reunion was wonderful. I think we ended up having between 40 and 50 PIP graduates. And we had our speaker, Leslie Lipson, and she had planned, our 3-day retreat, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful to think about everything that we had learned at PIP and to try to light the fire again for our advocates. Right now it's the legislative session. We need our advocate voices coming up with legislation that's coming, and part of this was storytelling with the thought that, everybody has a piece of the advocacy puzzle, and that might be your job. But that also might be, you helping a friend or a family member or someone in school or things like that. And so the PIP reunion was a great way for us to just remember all of those things. And then to get people fired up for Partners in Policymaking, because we will be offering a session again this fall, and we're really hoping to have lots of people apply. And so we were hoping to reinvigorate our PIP members to start talking to their friends or family or people they know to encourage them to apply once we start releasing that application.
Yeah, like I said, I can't say it enough that if, any of the advocates we serve get a chance to participate in this, they definitely should, because I got so much out of it. They will get so much out of it. They'll have a support system. They'll, build relationships with people and that networking, which is important, to have in case you're having trouble along your journey. You can just rely on someone to help you out. And everything you learn, like I said, it's just been so effective for me. That's why I loved attending it.
It is, and I'm also, Morgan and I were in the same class. I'm also a graduate, but I did not realize what I did not know until I took that class. And I know, to me personally, some of the legislative issues following the bills, understanding the legislative process can seem overwhelming, or it might feel like it's a very big nut to crack and you don't know where to, share your voice or how to advocate. And I think Partners in Policymaking does a wonderful job of teaching you how to write a letter to your local legislator if it's a topic, or how to track a bill, or if there's something of importance to you that they are discussing, how you can share your voice, whether in person or virtually. And I think that's super important because it takes many voices together, to help affect some of this. And so if you can do it, any of those ways, you learn that in PIP, how to do that and why it's so important.
Absolutely. Yeah, you just take so much out of it. I can't say that enough, but I had to ask about that because I know I couldn't attend, but I saw the pictures and they look like you guys did have a great time and enjoyed yourself there. So
absolutely. We hope to do that more often. I think the last PIP reunion was over 10 years ago, so we would like to do it more than that. But it's important to get advocates together to remind yourself that you're not alone. We all face different difficulties and, systems, and they impact our lives in various ways. But it's important to know that we're all fighting together and to kind of reestablish some of those connections. So you're able to talk to a person who's going through something similar and might have some great advice, or you can work on advocating together.
Yes, the whole strength in numbers. That's how I feel about it. Well, yes. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today about that. And we hope some of our advocates here in our region decide to fill that out and see if they get submitted. And I hope to hear, I'm anxious to see who'll get it. I know it's going to be a long process, but, I encourage any advocates, to fill out this form and, just give it a try. And if you have any questions, just reach out to Katie or Christy, and that's what they're here for.
Absolutely. Any questions? And I know, we have great relationship with People First and their staff members, Morgan, Doug, Michelle, Alexis. So you can reach out to them as well. But yeah, feel free to call us. Let us know. If you need us to mail us an application to your house, we can do that too. So don't be shy. We hope we get lots of applications because we'd love to see some new faces.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure talking with you again, and we'll talk to you sometime down the road.
All right. Thank you so much, Morgan.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Katie, for joining us today. Don't forget, if you have an important piece of legislation you want discussed on a future episode, or you want to be an advocate in action, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can call the ARC at 304-422-3151, extension 129. And if I don't answer, please leave a message. I usually try to get back to those messages as soon as I can. But if you don't want to call, you can email me directly. My email is morgan.spicer@thearcmov.org. Coming up is our Advocate in Action segment. This month, we have the chance to speak to Doug Lockhart. He is a contractor for the Bureau of Fiscal Services through SW Resources, and he was also the recipient of Advocate of the Year 2024. Thanks so much for joining us today, Doug, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, I work at Public Debt, and I do a little bit of cleaning. I do guard stations. I clean restrooms sometimes and pick up trash when people calls off. And a little bit spills and stuff when they call in for spills and stuff.
That's about it? Just all your duties as assigned there?
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of answered my question about what you do at the Bureau of Public Debt. So do you know how you got that position?
Yeah. I started at S&W Resources in 1996 in April 22nd of 96 until June of 97. Then I went to off-job sites until December of 97, because my aunt couldn't do it no more. It was hard for her to go back and forth. So I went into the shop and said, we couldn't do it no more, and I need another job. And they said, we got to open that Public Debt. Do you want me to put you on the list? I said, sure. Go ahead and put me on the list. And the next day, I came into work, and my boss said, you got the job at Public Debt? I said, and you'll be starting in January, Monday, on January in 98. And I've been there ever since.
Okay. So tell us about your journey. You own a car now. So what steps did you take to get that? How did you use self-advocacy to get that?
Well, I know my friend had the Subaru, and she got a new one and gave it to her brother. And I went to ask him if he would trade some stuff for the vehicle, and he said, sure. That's how I got my first vehicle. And how I got my license is my cousin Hazel and Leroy Guess helped me learn how to drive, and I studied for the test at work and at home, same chapter in the book, until I knew how to all the questions and stuff. And then I went to the VMD, took the test, and I passed that. And then I went to driving school for a couple of sessions. Then I went to take the driving test, and I passed it. That's how I got my license. And that's how I got my first car.
Nice. So it only took you one time?
One time to pass the test.
Nice.
Driving, or there's 5 questions on the driving test.
That's great. I mean, you must have studied a lot.
Yeah.
Get some practices.
Oh yeah, I did some practices too.
That's great. So you also live in your own home. So how did that come about?
Well, I've been looking at some houses, and one house didn't suit me, so I asked Doug Hess, and Doug Hess said he knew somebody had the house. Larry George had the house up for sale, so I went to look at it. I said, sure, I'll buy it. So we went to the bank to get a loan, and they approved it. That's how I got my first house.
And so you had to use your self-advocacy skills
Yes.
to get that loan,
Yes.
to speak up for yourself.
Speak up for myself, and I had a little help to get with some family members to help me out to get the house. So that's how I got the house.
And you live here local in Parkersburg?
Yes. I live in Lubeck.
Okay, so that's not too far from Parkersburg then, right?
Ain't too far. Just across the bridge.
Just across the bridge. Okay.
About 4 minutes, 4.5 miles, and not very far from public debt.
I was about to say that. It's probably easier to work too.
Yeah. I don't have to drive so far now. Like I did a long time ago.
Yeah. So congratulations on winning Self-Advocate of the Year.
Thank you.
At our recent annual board meeting. So why is this award so important to you?
It gives me self-confidence. I can do stuff on my own now, and don't have to depend on nobody to help me do this and do that. I have to depend on nobody to take me any places now. I can do it on my own, and I can cook for myself now, do all stuff. I don't have to have help now. I can do it on my own. And I don't have to depend on nobody or wait on nobody to come and get me or anything. I can do it on my own.
That's right. And, that's self-advocacy. That's what's so good about self-advocacy is, empowering yourself.
Yes, and
on being able to make decisions and do things for yourself.
Yes, make decisions for myself. Don't have to ask anybody to take me places. I can just get up and go and do it myself and all that. I don't have to wait on nobody to come and get me. I can go from work to home, wherever I want.
Yeah.
That's what I like about being dependent on myself.
And, you are such you come in every day here at the Arc and help out in the thrift shop and volunteer when you get off work.
Yeah.
You attend People First events. You recently went to Disability Advocacy Day in the Capitol. How did you enjoy that?
Yes, I loved it. My first time being at the Capitol, I loved it. I'd like to go back again next year.
We'd love to have you next year, but yeah, you're definitely a big help around here, and it's definitely appreciated.
Thank you.
When you come here and
give
out a helping hand at the thrift shop and anywhere that you're needed. So it's really appreciated.
Thank you.
So if you could give advice on how to be a better self-advocate, what would you tell someone?
So believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, and don't put yourself down. Be confident in yourself, and day by day, you get through it. And don't let nobody put you down. Say you can't do it. Put your mind to it. You can do it.
That's right. Especially with the hurdles that you've gone through. You advocated for your own house.
Yes.
You advocated for your own your driver's license.
Yes.
You asked for help with that.
Yes, I had to help for it, and don't be ashamed to ask for a little bit of help when you need it.
Absolutely.
And just be confident in yourself, and you get through it day by day. Say, I think I can do it, and don't let nobody tell you nothing different. Because I know you can do it. Because I'm living proof of it.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. And definitely, if someone came to you and needed that kind of help, you can encourage somebody else.
I can encourage them. If somebody come ask me a question, and I can tell them by experience, just believe in yourself. I know you can do it. So don't let nobody put you down. That's one main goal. Don't put yourself down. So, take it one step day by day, you get through it.
Yes. Are you looking for, I forgot to ask this earlier. Now, are you going to go to Jackson's Mill this year in September?
Yes, I'm going to go to Jacksonville this year.
You'll have a lot of fun and you'll definitely learn a lot there. It's going to, yeah.
This will be my second year going, and I loved it last year.
Well, great. So I understand you went to Disability Advocacy Day this year. And I know you said you really liked the trip and you enjoyed it. So what did you do while you were there? I mean, I know you went to a training.
Yeah, I went to the training, and I liked that. And I went to the Capitol and saw all the vendors, and that was pretty good. And I went to see where they voted, and I really liked that too. See how they voted. That was pretty good. And I liked when they called our name out one by one. That's pretty neat. We stood up and they named the People's First, Mental Health Valley stand up and they named our names and stuff like that, and that was pretty good. And I'd like to go back next year.
Now, you had a vision board with you as well, correct? You did a vision board? We presented one of the legislators' vision boards. And what did you do your vision board on? Do you remember?
Oh, I did it on, it was special ed teachers. Need more special education teachers. Where they could teach them the basics, what they need when they go out in the real world. That's what we need more teachers to teach the basics, like reading, writing, spelling, and all that. What they need to know when they go out in the real world.
And yeah, and that was a first time for you getting to see them run a House session.
Yes.
You got to see the House bills being passed.
I love that.
You got to see them all voting on that electronic screen.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was all really, and for your first time, I bet that was
real neat.
Yes. It was for me when I went. I always enjoyed seeing that part. So.
Oh, yeah.
So, now that we're done with Disability Advocacy Day, you want to go again next year, right?
Oh, yeah. I want to go back next year and do it all over again.
Oh, we'd love to have you. I mean, we love having you're taking the advocates down there. We love taking you guys down there. And, we love it when you guys present your ideas, like your vision boards and stuff. And you got to meet Senator Boley.
Oh, yeah.
Delegate Fehrenbacher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to meet quite a few of them.
Tell them about what the vision board means, and they said they liked it for a whole lot.
And everyone got to do it. It wasn't just you that did a vision board. Doug, you did one as well as all the other People First members.
Oh, yeah.
So, and they all did various vision boards about transportation, healthcare, things like that, where they could show that to the legislators. So you guys, it puts a story.
Yeah.
So
one of them was going to need more things, go to the doctor. I mean, more transportation, take you back and forth to the doctor. That's was one of them. You need more bus drivers out there. That's what another one was. And another one was like help when you need help with your bills and stuff. That's another one of them.
And you got to go on behalf of People First and
mine.
Yep, and present yours to, I mean, I bet that was amazing. And you're probably a little nervous a little bit there, but
I was a little nervous, but I did it.
There you go, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, Doug, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And don't forget, if you have an important piece of legislation you want discussed on a future episode or want to be an advocate in action like Doug here, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can call the ARC at 304-422 3151 extension 129, or you can email me at morgan.spicer@thearcmov.org. Again, thanks so much for joining us today. With that, we're out of time for this month's episode. Thanks so much, Katie Arbaugh from the West Virginia Developmental Disabilities Council, and our advocate in action this month, Doug Lockhart. Thanks for joining us this month, and remember, advocacy matters, and so do you. See you next time.